Okay, so I believe that I'm live. So quickly give me a thumbs up and let me know if I'm properly audible to everyone and if you can see my screen also. Okay, hello, code 871. Hello, sir, good evening. Hello, good evening, Manikanta. Okay, great. So Tuja says thumbs up. I mean, Tuja gives us a thumbs up. That means I'm audible perfectly. Okay, great, great. So as you know, we'll be waiting till 7:05 so that everyone can join in, and then we will start further. Okay, hello, good evening, Sandeep Reactions. Good evening, Anjina. Yes, good evening, Vikas. So yeah, till then you can also tell, like as usual, I say in every other class that you can tell us, like if this is your first time joining in for this boot camp, or you have been joining in earlier as well, and if you have been joining earlier as well, so how is your experience, and if you're joining for the first time, then what are your expectations and all, right? And mind you, it is the day 6 of our boot camp, of our front-end boot camp, and today we'll be dealing with DOM elements, I mean manipulating with DOM and all these methods. And tomorrow we'll be having a project, right, from starting from very scratch, and we'll cover that project in tomorrow's class. And also please, like if you know about the things, like what we do is at the end of every session, like at the end of every webinar around 7:05 or 7:55 or 7:50, we share that attendance link with you. Please do fill out that link in case you want to get a certificate of participation. And if you are regular and if you are filling every attendance link from day 1 till day 7, you'll be getting certificate of completion as well. Right. Okay, good evening, and everyone. Hello, good evening. Vaishnavi, Aniket, Nala, Jala, Sai, Ganesh. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly because I'm little not good with the names. Kirtika says good evening. Sani Siddharth, good evening. Okay. So we'll be starting in just 2 minutes, right? It's 7:03 already. Ashwini, Mohammad Tufail, Mihir Patel, sorry, Patel, Asif Raza, Aniket, Harshita, everyone, good evening, everyone. Vaishnavi, Pratik, good evening to everyone. 1 more minute we'll be waiting, and then we'll be directly jumping to our topics, to our remaining topics. Okay, Ganesha asked, like, when internship will start, sir? So this internship that the question is, I believe, from that curriculum, right? What I discussed about in last two classes. So if you get enrolled into that part after your curriculum ends, after your all these live classes of like full stack development ends, then you'll be getting that internship. For those of you who are very new and who are scratching their heads upon, like, what is this internship thing that sir and these participants are talking about, don't worry, I'll just give a brief about what this program was all about and what all are the perks and all, just for like 1-2 minutes in meanwhile the session. Oh, okay, Ganesh, is this your first class? Don't worry, I'll show you that PPT and I'll explain you very briefly. I mean, I'll explain everyone in the middle of the session. Cool then, right? It's 7:05 already, and I believe we can start. So, yeah. In the last class, we discussed about some of the other properties of JavaScript, right? Functions were there and all these different things were there. We also implemented a few things from the last class. So now it's day 6, and in day 6 what we have is, I also talked something called as a DOM, right? I also told you there is something called as a DOM which we will be seeing in today's class, right? So yeah, let's see what all content we have for today. Yeah, so the very first thing is like DOM methods, right? In last class I only talked about DOM, right? What is a DOM like structure, and suppose if you want to change any particular things on your page, how can you change it, right? Right now we were saying we were only able to print, or we were only able to show any message on our consoles only, right? Which was not very good, because we want to show our messages on our page, right? What will be the use of writing JavaScript inside or including JavaScript inside our HTML if we are not able to do anything with that? I mean, if we are not able to change any content, or if we are not able to make any dynamic features in our page, right? So that is why in today's class we'll be discussing about some of the common methods from which you can use to make some changes. First of all, to get some changes or to get some data from your page, and then to make changes to them, right? So that is possible using DOM methods. What all are these DOM methods and how they will work, we will see in this today's class, right? And the second thing is that we'll also be looking about we'll also be talking about events, right? So events are very super cool things. Suppose if you have a button and all, right, or if you want to click it and you want to show any particular things, or if you want to have any particular action as soon as you hover over it, or as soon as you press any key, right? So all these things will be done once you know about events, right? So this is also we'll be covering in today's class, right? So let's I hope that agenda is clear to everyone. So let's jump to the first slide that says DOM methods, right? So for those of you who are not very clear about DOM, or who are joining for the first time, right, let me give you a very brief example or very brief explanation of DOM again. So basically, let me show you this thing. Let's first of all go to our page where we were discussing all these things. Yeah, over here, if you remember, we did these things in this file, right? Just a minute. Yeah, this was the file where we were doing all these things, right? In this part, this was our simple HTML file. In this file, if you remember, we just added these styles. We just added the script file. I also told like what all are the different ways of adding a script file in a like. Maybe you can add them using a script source, or maybe you can add that script directly by writing this script block, right? I also told you you are preferably you need to write them at the end of this section, right? At the end of this body section. Why do we need to write that? That I will tell once I tell you about the DOM, right? So please wait for that. So yeah, this was everything that we did. So let me quickly run this in my browser. And now, so this is a very stupid thing that was coming. Let's comment out that first of all, because we don't want to do that multiple times. We have to remove this. Yes, now if I refresh, nothing will come. Now the thing that we are only interested at this moment is that I want to do any particular thing. I want to like get this heading from my page, or I want to get this hello word and I want to change it, right? I maybe want to do it like hello everyone, or any other things like that, right? Using JavaScript only, right? So how can I do that is the important thing. Before that, I'm revising that DOM part for you just in a moment. So what DOM was, everything that you have in your page, right? Even the whole web page in itself kind of behave like a tree, right? What is like a tree, or how exactly like a tree is? You'll have a document, right? Which is a kind of parent element, right? Whenever I'm talking about elements, or whenever I'm talking about any components or nodes, right? All these things being this is kind of an object, right? Now, what is an object? I believe I have given you a brief information about that as well when we were talking about the JavaScript fundamentals. So basically, an object is nothing but a container, kind of a container, which contains some properties and some methods, right? So understand it with this example. Suppose I have a cat, right? So my cat might have different properties. What possible properties my cat could have? My cat could have a name. My cat could have a breed, right? My cat could also have age, right? All these different things would be there, and my cat could also have some properties as well. I mean, some method as well, right? What all methods could my cat have? My cat will have a walk function, right? A meow function, a meow method, whatsoever you can say. So object is nothing but a group of, let me write it over here. So this is an object form, right? It is basically an group of certain properties and certain like certain properties, you can say, and certain methods, right? This is general object form, right? So when I'm saying like document is kind of an object for me, so document will have some certain properties, right? What properties my document could have? My document could have something called as like body. My document could have, or instead the document could have like body style or anything like that, right? Body ka style document say we could change. Body would have any other properties. Body could also have some methods as well, right? What all methods my body could have? Like get element by ID, right? Get element by class name, or query selector, right? So all these things that I'm talking about right now at this moment might not be sounding very cool to you. You might be scratching your head and saying, what is this get element by ID? What is get element by class? What is this body style? All these things are, I mean, what does that mean, right? And how can I see this on working? So if you are able to understand what I'm trying to say, what is an object and what possibly an object would contain, let me show you a very quick demo, right? And hopefully after that you will understand what I'm trying to say. So I'll do one thing. I'll quickly go to my console area, right? Why will I go to my console area? Because I told you some kind of JavaScript you can also run in your console area, right? We have been doing this for many time. I mean, we have been doing this from last 2 classes, right? With JavaScript. So I'll quickly try to do one thing. I'll try to see, I'm writing document, right? Everyone, I believe everyone can see this. If I'm writing, let me zoom it out a bit. Yeah. If I'm writing document, can you see like my whole page is getting blue? Right? Why it is getting blue? Because everything that is in my page can be accessed using a document, right? So document is kind of a wrapper, or document is kind of a parent that contains everything across my page. Let me also visually make this clear to everyone. What I'm trying to say is document is a parent element. Document has like your what? Document has your HTML. Then HTML might have your what? Head, body, right? Inside this multiple things could be there. You already know this, right? Title could be there, link could be there, or metas could be there, right? In body, it's up to you, like if you have added h1, if you have added paragraph, if you have added img, right? It's basically depends upon you, but the main thing over here is that document contains everything, right? Document is the root of everything. So let's do one thing. If I will try to print a document, or if I try to just access document over here, see, you can see the whole page is getting blue. So if I just write document and if I try to print it, and this is something, I mean, this is some like condensed way of writing it. If I click on this, if I expand this, you can see everything in my page is getting visible, right? Everything that my page has HTML and whole thing is getting printed over here, right? So this is this signifies that everything that my page has is considered inside the document, right? So yeah, this was about it. Now let's see if I want to select any particular element, right? If I want to select any particular heading or any particular things from my page, how can I do that? Right. So for that, we require some methods, right? Some DOM methods. What are those methods? Those methods are called DOM manipulators, or maybe DOM methods, right? So what could be them? Let's see in the very first slide. Yeah. In this slide, you could see easily that we have written some things over here. That means get element by ID is a function, right? Get element by class name is also a function. Get element by tag name is also a function or method. Right. So what all are these methods and what all these can do possibly is very simple thing, right? It's very intuitive. That is, suppose if I want to select any particular element from my page, I want to select this hello world, right? So how will I select this hello world? If I show you the code of that, just a minute. Where is the code? Yeah, there's the code. And if I show you this code in this HTML part, can you see that? Let's do one thing. Maybe let's add this as head h1. Then we'll probably be able to select this particularly very good. I mean, very easily. Now what I'm doing is I'm just wrapping this around h1, right? Now I believe everyone can see that I've just wrapped this around my HTML. Just a minute. These stupid HTML is also giving me something. Let's comment that out. I mean, this stupid JavaScript was giving me some errors. Now, in this part, can you see that my page is showing in proper h1 heading? Now, if I want to print this part, right? If I want to get this value inside it, how can I do that? Is I will write document. Then I will add a dot over here. Why am I adding a dot over here? Because see, if you have a function, right? I believe if you have knowledge of any other programming language, you might have done this over there as well. Suppose if you have a object, maybe suppose I was talking about cat, right? Cat will have name, breed, etc. All these things, and cat will have walk, meow function. So if I want to access this meow function of this particular cat, how will I do that? I'll do that by writing cat.meow, right? Similarly, I want to access the name. So how will I do that? I'll do that by writing cat.name. Right. So this is how you do things, right? If you have to access a function, you write the name of that object, you write a dot, and you write that function name. If you want to use that particular variable, you will add, you will write that name, you'll add a dot, and you'll write that particular variable which you want to access. Right. This is how you do things, right? So if we can do these things this way, let's do one thing. Let's try to use this function that is called as getElementById, right? If I write this over here, right, and it will expect me to give this an ID, right, or whatever element that I want to select, to pass it its ID. If you see in my page, just a minute. If you see it in my page, I don't have any IDs of that, right? So I'll quickly give this an ID, and I'll say like heading, right? And now if I go to my page, and if I want to select this, I'll just write the ID of that heading was that ID, right? If I hit enter, what will happen? Boom, right? Something just happened. In this part, what we are seeing right now is we are seeing a particular element that has what? That element is over with us, that has a particular tag, and that has that whole content written inside it. Right? I hope this thing is making some sense to you. Like if our page has multiple things, right? Right now we only have a heading that is having an ID as heading, right? H1 element that has a heading ID of heading. So in this part, if I want to select that particularly, how can I do that? I can do that easily by writing this function that is called as getElementById. Right now, this might be very intuitive, right? You might have guessed it by the name. GetElementById will mean this will get us an element by fetching its ID, right? But what's that document, right? Why do we need to write that document over here? Is fairly simple, right? Why we are writing document over here? Because I told you everything that is ever in my page, I mean everything that is in my page, we can access directly by calling it a document, because document is the parent of that, right? Suppose document contains everything, and how can you do that? Suppose cat, I've given you the cat example, right? In cat mein, if cat is the object and these cat have different properties and different variables name, you just write that cat class name or that object name, and you just write a dot and you just access that function, right? So this getElementById is a predefined function that will give you the elements, right? I hope this is making some sense. Okay, let's quickly see if we have any doubts. Then I'll start explaining more things about that. Okay, okay, Miramad. So we have been having a talk around it. So most probably we'll be having a full-fledged JavaScript bootcamp that we will start JavaScript from very scratch, and we'll go till advanced topics, right? That only will focus about JavaScript. Or maybe we would be thinking about we were thinking about React bootcamp as well, right? Full starting from like basics of React till like intermediate or advanced concepts of React, right? So you'll probably be getting about this thing from us in like 2-3 days, whatever comes final, right? Yeah, so this is it. What it will be in the bootcamp? Okay, that you have to wait for the next class. Okay, because I'll not give you the spoilers at this moment. Then we have good evening. What is the use of? Okay, about these things, right? About these queries. Just let me explain this part first, and then I'll shift over to that slide, and I'll then take your all of these doubts. Okay, no further queries. Sure. So yeah, I hope this is making some sense. So once we have get that, right? Once we have get that, now if I want to change any particular, sir, please do this React Bootcamp. Yeah, I'll will finalize the thing first of all, right? Do we need a do we need a JavaScript course first of all, or do we need a React Bootcamp first of all, right? Depending upon that, we'll do that. Thing, don't worry. Cool. Right. So if I have done this part, right, if I just written document.getElement by ID and I've given that heading or given that particular ID, what will happen is I get that element, right? Now, here comes the important part, right? I'm using a different thing now, right? What the thing that I'm doing is I'm using a further function that is called as what? That is called as inner HTML, right? Dot inner HTML means whatever value you have got, right? Whatever value that you have got, or let's do one thing. Let's save this element in a variable, right? I hope everyone is clear about the variable. Maybe let's say heading element. What we are doing is whatever value we are getting over here, we are saving this and in a variable called as a heading element, right? If I try to print heading element, you will see that I am getting this particular thing, right? Now, what if I want to change this heading, right? Now, if I want to change this heading text, how can I do that? Right. So the answer is fairly simple. You just tap into that variable where you have saved that value, and you just use this method called as an inner HTML, right? Now, if you hit this enter, you will say the inner HTML gives us hello world, right? Why it is giving us hello world? Because the content of this tag was hello world, right? Now, if I want to change it, right, it's just simple as changing any like any variable's value, right? How can I change that? I just write equals to and I'll write maybe what hello everyone, and if I hit enter, what will happen? See, I hope everyone have everyone can see this change that just happened. Just by tapping into our HTML, we have successfully changed our HTML content, right? So how have you done that? First thing is we have got the element, we have selected that element. How we have done that? We have done that by using DOM methods. The method was get element by ID, right? Because we had one element that has a particular ID as heading. We have selected that part, and after selecting, what we are doing is maybe you can directly change that inner content, but for the simplicity, I have done is I have taken that variable, I have taken that value, that particular element value in a variable called as heading element. You can choose any other variable according to your need. Once you have done that, what we are doing is there is another particular method, there is another particular property that is called as inner HTML, right? So if you tap into that inner HTML, what this will do is, see, this was the whole element, right? The particular tag, then particular ID, then inside the content, and then the closing tag. Now we don't want to change everything in this thing. We only want to change whatever is written inside this element, right? We only want to change this hello world thing, which was initially hello everyone, right? So if I want to change that, how will I do that? I'll tap into .inner property, .inner HTML property, and .inner HTML property will give me this this particular thing. I want to change it. How will I do? I'll simply overwrite it by writing equals to, by writing this assignment operator. Right? I hope this is making some sense to everyone, and everyone is able to understand whatever we are trying to do. Right? This is just for illustration. I am showing all these things in a plain console area. I'll be showing this. I'll be doing all these things from particular .js file as well. I'm just doing these things right away because suppose if I write any line, you'll be able to see the output in the very next line. Right? That is what we are doing at this moment. Cool. Because most of the company need React. Yeah, exactly, man. Akshay, you are very right. React.js has a very good market, right? And yeah, we'll try to come up with a React first, and we have noted your request, and we'll try to come up with the React first. Cool. Now, so I believe this is making sense to everyone, right? Now let's try to do one thing. What will happen if I reload this page, right? Can anyone guess what will happen if I reload this page? Okay, let's see by doing that. Boom. Whatever change that we have done was just got vanished, right? Why it got vanished? Because first thing is we were doing these changes by console area, right? And console is not a permanent change. We only do all these things that are permanent, I mean that are temporary in nature, right? So as soon as we reload our page, all our HTML code will be retrieved from this file, and whatever is written in our file will be changed accordingly, right? So that is why we are able to see hello world. Now let's write everything that we have done in that console area, and let's try to do that with it with our JavaScript only, right? So what I'm doing is I'll probably remove this thing because this will create some confusion. Now I'll open this with the split window, and I'll okay, let me remove all of these things because sorry, not this, so that we have a clean slate. Yeah. So in this area, what I'm doing is I have that heading element first of all, right? So I want to do one thing. I want to do key first of all select that particular heading element, right? How can I do that? We can do that by writing document dot get element by ID already, right? There is one more, I mean not exactly one more, but there are a couple of more methods that you can use, right? What all are these different methods? One is by getting ID, right? Suppose what if we have like a similar looking h2 element, I mean h1 element, that but that has a class now. Class as maybe maybe not, let's try to give this a paragraph tag because heading is already there, right? Yeah, paragraph mein let's give this a para. Lorem ipsum, anything, let's write. Cool. I can select by ID. I can also select by class name, right? How can I select by class name? Is just by writing get element by class name, right? But this will gonna look like a different way, right? We have to treat it this a different way, right? How we treat it different way, or what is the way of treating that, is a way that we will see later. First of all, let's stick to our element by ID. I mean, let's by elements by. Let's stick to that part by ID, because that we have done already, right? So I'll do one thing. I'll write the ID that I want to select it by. I want to select it by heading ID, right? So I've written that heading now, and I'll do what? If I write it this way, what will happen is this function will return me this element, right? Whatever element we will return is this particular hello world element. So I want to save it at any particular variable, right? Maybe I could do variable like heading element or anything, whatever name you want to call it as. Yeah, right. So this is what we have done, and since once this is done, what we will do is we will say this heading element dot inner HTML, right? Inner HTML equals to let's write changed with change with JS, change with JavaScript, right? So now as you might have guessed, what will happen as soon as I reload this page? See, you can see that change with JavaScript is coming. Again, you will say this is like again looking like the same thing, right? Instead of writing this change with JavaScript, hard coding this with the HTML part, we are just trying to change it by our by writing our JavaScript, right? So what sense this will make? Right now this will not make any sense, right? Because we have not done any click event, we have not done any much thing, and we are just changing the content right away. But as once we know about the events, right, once we know how can we handle those events, then we will do one thing. We will click on this particular button, and as soon as we click on that button, we will change the content of our page, right? So till this point, you just understand how we are able to change this particular content by tapping into our JavaScript, right? Quickly give me a thumbs up if this thing is making some sense to everyone, right? Because okay, so Miramat asks, can we get URL instead of hello world tag? URL as in? I didn't got this just out. Can you elaborate on this? Okay. So Lalit says no. Oh, okay, so this no is about this particular DOM manipulation thing, right? Okay, let me explain this a little bit more just let me explain this a little bit more, because I believe like some of you are not getting it properly. So the thing that I'm trying to say over here is ki I told you like how our DOM is structured, right? Are all these content about head, element, and body and everything that is inside our page is wrapped around something called as a document, right? And inside document, I mean, before document as well, there is a particular thing called as a window, right? Let's try to log window over here. If I write window and if I hit enter, you will find plenty things written over here, right? What all are these plenty things? See, there is particular thing called as a document, right? Then there is alert, atom, blur, all these things are written over here. That means the window is an object that contains all these things, right? And in all of these things, there is particular thing called as a document as well, right? If you go beyond this, and if you try to look out for document, where could we find document? Yeah, inside document, now you can find what? You can find all different elements, right? You have location, you have like active element, you have all other things. The thing is ki it is a giant tree, or it is a giant object that contains all these things, right? Inside the window, but I don't want to go much about all these other properties. What are these, like location, what all are these self and all these other things. I just only want to consider about document at this moment, right? So if I just write document, right? So what will my document contain? Document will contain everything that is in my page. Now, if I want to change anything, or if I want to get any particular thing from my page, I cannot just directly say, get this heading one or get this particular thing. I have to write a particular way. How do I write it? I have to use a function called as get element by ID. Get element by ID, and I have to pass the ID which I want to get from my page, right? I was trying to get a heading element, so I will enter this, right? So as soon as I run this function will return me the whole element, the whole tag and the content that is provided, I mean, that was written in HTML, right? So this thing is possible by writing what? This thing is possible by writing this particular function. Now, if you want to change, if you want to get any particular ID, if you want to get any particular element based upon its ID, or based upon its class, it is also exactly the same, but the change will be get elements by class name you have to write. Yeah. So once you do this thing, and if you write the class name, what was our class name? Our class name was para, right? Now if you do this, you'll have one different thing, right? What different thing you'll have? You'll have a collection of this thing, or you'll have an array of this thing. Although this is not a proper looking array, but what we are saying is keep. See, if I say ki I have a class name, right? So class name will definitely mean ki I might have number of elements that will have the same class name, because classes can be common to everyone. So if I say ki I want to get this para class, right? I want to get this element which has a para class. I'll not be probably be getting only one thing. I'll probably be getting 2, 3, 5, 10 different number of things, right? So for that situation, what HTML does for us is it returns a kind of array for us. And that says ki if you tap into zeroth if you tap into its zeroth index, right? If I write 0 over here, if you have a little bit knowledge about arrays, if I write into this part, now you can see that we are able to get this particular element, right? Why we are getting this at 0? Because arrays are 0 based indexing, right? Now if this thing is done, I mean, now if we are able to get any particular thing written on our page just by typing into get element by ID, get element by class name, we can also change that, right? How can we change that? Is once we have this particular thing, right? Once I have this particular heading, let me write that whole thing again over here. How do I copy this? Yeah. If I write this thing over here, and if I write another method called inner HTML, right? This method does what? Ki whatever element that you have, right? This element will have some inner HTML, right? What is inner HTML? Whatever is written inside that tag. So if you want to change that, you will tap into that inner HTML and you'll change that. You'll maybe say change again, right? If I enter, now we can see that the element is changed over in our page, and that says change again. Right, so I hope this is now making some sense. But in here, what we are doing is we are doing it a little descriptive manner. First of all, whatever element that we are getting, we are storing it in a variable called as heading element, and then we are running this inner HTML function, inner HTML variable, and we are changing that variable from here. Right, so this is, I hope, making some sense. Right, can we? Exactly, you can also change the URLs or all these things you can change, right? you can also change some attributes in your tag as well. Suppose you want to add a particular ID, or you want to add a particular URL from, I mean, from href or any other things from by these elements, by ID, all these things, that is also possible, right? Right now we are just concerning about how we can get the element and how you can set these values, right? Cool. So okay, one more doubt we have. Can we use query selector? Definitely we can use query selector, and like tag name is also there, query selector all is also there. But right now we are only we have only discussed about ID and by class name, right? Once we have a little bit idea about them, then I'll start explaining you about get element by tag name, or get element by get element dot query selector and query selector, right? So I hope now this is making some sense to everyone. But since there are not only two methods, there is not only like get element by class name or get element by ID. There is one more thing called as what? Get element by tag name, right? Yeah. Okay. I believe that we are back now. Okay, can you hear me guys now? Hello. Quickly give me a thumbs up if you can hear me properly, and if the screen is visible now, if the stream is available now. Okay, great. So sorry about that technical glitch. Okay, finally. So sorry guys. Sorry for the delay. It was very bad. Again, apologies for that. Right. Yeah. So we were discussing about what? We were discussing about this paragraph, right? Sorry, about the tag element, right? So let's quickly wrap it up now because we have wasted so many time in fixing this. So with tag elements, what you can do is, suppose if you want to select this particular thing, right? This is what? This is a tag for us, right? We have written this thing inside a paragraph tag. So if you want to select it by a simple paragraph tag, what we can do is we can write this particular thing over here. Just a minute. We can write this thing, and as soon as we hit enter, you'll again see the same thing, right? What is that same thing? See, your page could have different type of same tag. So if you are just saying, I want to select an element that is of that contains a paragraph tag, that might result in multiple answers, right? That might result in like there is one element, then there is second element, then there is third element. So in that scenario, what happens is it generally returns in type of array situation, right? What is that array? We can see that we have a one length array. Why we have a one length array? Because we only have a one paragraph element at our page at this moment, right? So how can we access this particular element? Just by adding 0 after that. Why we are writing 0? Because this is the first element, right? Suppose let's take this scenario. If we have like 2-3 different just a minute, let's have 2-3 different paragraphs similar way. And what happens if I do the same thing? If I just write this thing by tag, now you can see that we have 3 collections, right? In collection we have 3 value. What all are these 3 value? These 3 values are all these 3 different tags value. If I want to get the second one, how can I get that? By writing into 1. Right, now you can see if I select on this, the second part is getting selected, right? So this is how you get these things, right? And this is how you select these things. And again, if you want to change any of this content, how will you do that? By again tapping into .inner HTML property. There is something called as inner text as well. There is something called as inner content as well, right? Text content as well. So these are different. I mean, these are almost the same thing, but these have a very minute difference, which we will see once we start working with them, right? So I hope this is making sense to everyone. Now there are 2 more methods, right? What are those 2 methods? There is something called as a query selector, and there is something called as a query selector all, right? So what is a query selector and what is a query selector all? These are very simple thing. These are fairly simple thing. Query selectors means that whatever query you will write, right? Instead of just saying, yeah, I want to select by a tag name, or instead I want to select by ID name, or instead I want to select by class name, you'll do one thing. You'll write dot if you want to select by a class name. You'll write hash if you want to select from ID. If you'll write simple tag name if you want to select by tag name. It's just simple. I'm not explaining into that part right now because we are already running late. We have already wasted so much of our time, right, due to that technical issues. but I hope you'll be able to get that. But most of our work will be done using this get element by ID or get element by class name. Right. And yeah, sure, man. I'll just share the attendance link. Before that, I want to again, I want your 2 minutes of attention, because all these things that we are doing right now is just like we are giving some gist about different things that can be possible with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. As we were telling from the like third, fourth class itself, if you are enjoying these things or if you are learning these things, and if you want to learn more about these things, right, if you are further interested in doing that things, right, what you can do is we have come up with this thing. Let me show you. Just I want 2 minutes from you. Yeah, this thing, this full stack yeah, this guaranteed internship full stack web development program. In this program, what is it all about is, just give me a minute. Don't worry, I'll not waste again more of your time. Yeah, in this thing, what we are coming up with is you will be provided with the guaranteed internship, and this will be a complete full-fledged full stack web development course, starting from the very scratch, right, from zero till like moon, right, till the moon. Wala scene hai. We'll be starting from very basics of internet, then we'll learn about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in a descriptive manner, and we'll top it off with like full MERN stack development, and that will be covering many projects, right, starting from simpler projects like a portfolio website to bigger projects like Swiggy backend management and blog websites using your databases, right. We'll cover everything. Right, and let me tell you a little bit about the features of these courses, right. What all are the features of these courses? The first thing is about the instructor, or what about all these like about edspread and about all these things. You can pause this and you can get this PDF and you can read more about it. I will not waste much of the time over here. I'll quickly jump into the like key features of this course. That is, first thing is the most most promising thing is these are live classes, and all these features that I'm telling you, right, once I tell you all these features, you might be thinking, array, they might be charging so much, right, they must be charging so much for all these features. But let me tell you, it's super affordable, and that will be provided at a dearth affordable affordable price, right. So live classes will be there, and for those of you who have missed it, recorded session will also be there, right. One-on-one doubt solving will be there. It's not like you just put your doubts in a chat or someone and then someone will take it or someone will not take it. Like, it will be like real-time doubt. Suppose if you have any doubt, or if you come across any doubt, you just ask and the mentor will reply to you, right. It's that simple. And we'll have 10 plus projects starting from very scratch till like a very advanced one. These are like major ones, right? 10 plus project that I'm saying. We'll also have like some different smaller project as well, which will help you in grasping the concept in a better manner. Starting from beginner till advanced, that I've been always, that I've been telling you from the very start, we will not take this for granted, you know this or you know that or that. We'll start from the basics and we'll go till advanced concept. And again, a key feature is we will be dividing you in basis of groups, right? So that you will have a better experience. Why better experience? Because if you are learning individually, then you might come across procrastination, but in group you'll try to be consistent, or be reported, or be like be at least reporting to someone, right? So that is why that will improve your chances of completing this in a very like good manner. And resume building web workshop will also be there after you have completed all these things, right? So so that you can top it off with a very good looking resume. So that we'll be providing you that, and all these workshops will be taken by Microsoft, Google, or Amazon. All these super farm companies interviewers, or these people will be taking that. And since you are doing so much things, since you are doing internships, if you are doing like this particular course, and if you have performed well, you'll be getting a letter of recommendation after this, because this will further enhance your chances of selection in any particular interview, right? And about internship certificate, definitely, since you have done that internship, that will be there. And I also want to make this point clear ki whosoever got enrolled into this course will definitely be getting an internship. It's not like only selected participants, only 1 or 2 will be getting internship. Everyone who enrolls, who completes this this lessons part, all this curriculum part, will definitely be going to do that. I mean, will definitely be going to get that. After that, certificate of completion, since you have completed that, right? Yeah, if I talk more about it, about the curriculums, about everything, we'll start from the front end, we'll go to the back end, version control APIs. I'll not waste much of the time explaining that because that has been there in the PDF, and all these things will be provided to you. And after that, it is the detailed curriculum. In front end, React will also be taught. It's not like simple HTML, CSS will be done, right? React will also be taught in a very descriptive manner. Again, Git and GitHub, since these are version control, so they are also be taught in this. And backend there is a lot of things from Node.js, from Express.js, from making API call and getting answers and all, to backend services, like to development and hosting that, and to even connecting with your databases and doing those queries will be there. And this is a MERN stack, by the way, right? Basically, we'll be focusing on the MERN stack, that is MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js, right? And yeah, about securing websites, etc. will be there. All these things will be there. Projects, if you want to have a sneak peek into it, you can see like personal portfolio will be there, expense tracker will be there. Then we'll have search movies. Then we'll have Swiggy backend, and then we'll have a proper blog website using database, using databases. Yeah. And after that, industrial training, again, that internship period will be there. That will not be costed separately, right? It's not like you have done that and you'll be again charged for an internship, right? It's not like that. And 2 days resume building workshop will be there, and yeah, all these certificate will be there. And if you have any further queries, if you want to like get into all these doubts, I want to know more about it, or all these things, you can fill out this registration form. Just in a minute, let me show you that. I'll also share the, let me share that, I'll share the attendance link just in a moment. Let me share that first of all. Yeah, now comes the important part, right? I've been telling about this from the very like the second, third day. Yeah, this is the registration link, right? If you want to like register, if you want to ask doubts or something, any further things that you want to ask, any query that you have, you can directly go into that and you can fill in your queries, and you'll be, or if you're just interested, if you want to know more about it, or if you want someone from our team to call you and clear all of your doubts around it, please do fill that. Now, again, if you are already convinced, right? If you feel like, okay, this is something that I need to, that I need to do, I highly need that, right? So you can also do that is, let me reveal the price first of all, right? So at this moment, we have priced this at a affordable cost of 2499, right? Now, this might, you might say, see, all these courses are available at a very cheaper price rather than this. But I have given you the comparison already, right? If you talk about Udemy courses, or if you talk about like free YouTube courses, I've already given you the comparison, what all they provide and what all we are providing. Right. If you want to have like more discussion about it, if you want to have like what all features will be there, how will this be done, or how will that be done? Will I be, will I be available to do this, or will I be doing that, or all these things, right? Any query that you have, you might fill that registration form, and from someone from our team will reach out to you and will not spam. I'll guarantee that. It's not like if you have given us our numbers, we'll constantly try calling you. It's not like that. If you say we are not interested, then it's the end of the story. Right? If you just want to have more information, just fill out that. Now, if you want to get enrolled into this, although let me tell you that we are only having 50 seats at this moment, because we don't want to overcrowd this. We just only want to have like limited students, and we want to focus on them. One more thing is that this course is already running. We have a like successful batch running that is almost about to end. And if you want to know more about the testimonials, like how it is working and what all are the students saying, all these things, you can reach out to that query form, and we'll definitely be showing all these testimonials and all these things to you as well. Right. So yeah, this is, again, let me tell you, this is the introductory price at this moment, right? Introductory price, and this might fluctuate in coming days, right? It's definitely be going to increase. It's not going to like go discounted in coming days, but yeah, it might go above. Now, if you feel like I want to do this, or I want to like register a seat or something, you can I'll be sharing you a link just in a moment. You can directly pay 999 to secure a seat over here. And yeah, if you are interested, and if you feel like, okay, I'm convinced now, I want to do this, please do that. Let me share that thing for just in a moment, and then I'll be giving you that attendance link. Again, it's not a compulsion. If you are convinced, and if you want to do that, fill it. Yeah. If you have other further queries, you can directly DM us as well. Yeah. Thanks, man. People were saying we have already discussed that. I believe that, just in a moment. Yeah, there might be a space. And after that, just in a minute. Quickly see if this is working for everyone. If it is not working, don't worry. We'll provide that in your WhatsApp group as well. See, I've copied that, but that might fluctuate because of this copy pasting issue. Yeah, I might know that might have failed. Just in a minute, let me copy the particular link again now. See, this is the this is the payment link. If you are convinced and if you want to book a seat for this moment, you can do what this. Yeah, okay. Someone from the team has sent it. Please do look at it, and please do if you want to get a slot booking, or if you want to have other further things. If you are not very sure, if you want to just say, yeah, I don't want to pay right now, I want to get more doubts or get more clarity on that, please do reach out to us at this number, right? Or you can fill out that this registration form that I've already provided you. In that, you can fill in your queries, and someone from the team will reach out to you, and you might have a discussion around them, what all will be provided, what all will be covered, and all these things, right? Now, let me also give you the attendance link very quickly, so that you also fill out the attendance. Yeah, just in a minute. Yeah, this attendance link, please do fill out this as well, in order if you want to get like certificates of completion and certificate of participation. Please do fill out this. And yeah, in today's class, we discussed about all these like all these methods about DOM and how do you change things, how do you get things. I believe all these things are not very descriptive, because everything about JavaScript is not possible to cover in just like 2-3 classes, right? I hope you also remember know this. So right now we are just covering things on a very like surface level. But if you want to, if you want us to have a proper dedicated course on JavaScript or on particularly React.js as well, please do fill in your suggestions as well. So yeah, if you want to book a slot, you can book that for 999 at this moment, right? Okay, so Vivek, if you have missed that last 2 day attendance, don't worry, it's not an issue, right? Just fill the today's attendance. You'll probably be getting certificate of participation at this moment, right? So yeah, and also we'll be having a very quick quiz tomorrow, right? In that quick quiz, if you like perform well, you'll also have a chance to get a certificate of completion, right? Despite if you have missed some attendance, no, don't worry about that part, right? So yeah, someone is about asking the duration of this course, right? So all these things, I'll not take every doubt at this moment, because that will extend this timing of this webinar. So anything that you have, please do fill out that in that query form, right? Someone from the team will answer everything from everything. When the course is starting, again, this is a question, but yeah, I'll quickly throw a light key. Within like a few weeks, this course will be starting. So that is why we are saying this is kind of early bird discount for you. So if you are, if you want to join in at this moment, please do fill out that form, and yeah, you'll get where would be you'll get all these certificate of participation in your mail IDs, right? I believe you have been filling this attendance link, and you have been asking you have been filling your email IDs, so you'll receive all these certificate of participation and completion on your email IDs, on your respective email IDs. Yeah, so yeah, all these things are done. And also, if you have any further feedbacks, if you want to say like, please do this bootcamp, please do come up with this course, or please do introduce these things, all these things, please fill out that in the in this attendance link. There is a particular form called as a feedback, right? Please do fill out that thing in the feedbacks area, and we'll definitely look into that part as well. And again, I'm saying this, if you have any doubts or something, please do feel free to reach out at these contacts. If you want to drop us a mail, you can also drop that mails to us. And I've already shared that like course registration, slot booking, and all these query forms. Please do fill out, or please do reach out to us in case if you have any doubts, if you have any problems, or if you want to have a chat with us as well. Right, so that is what actual price of the course what is the actual price? So the price of course right now for the early bird discount, including early bird discounts, is 2499, 2500 approximately. Yeah. So if you if you try to maybe enroll into this course after like few days, this might fluctuate and this might go higher, right? I'm not saying this will go down, because obviously early bird discounts are there, right? If you enroll later, you'll have first thing is you'll have a lesser chance of getting a seat, because we have like only 50 seats, so the seats might fill up. And the second thing is the course price might go higher, right? So please do note that in your mind as well. Again, if you have any problem, if you are not sure should I get this, or will I get this in the course or not, please do reach out to us and we'll clear everything of you, every doubt of yours, and then it will be up to you if you want to take that course or not. Cool. So I believe that is the end of this. If you have any quick questions, any things to ask, please do ask, and then we'll wrap up this meeting, and we'll wrap up this webinar, and we'll meet tomorrow and we'll start working with our project. Any questions? Okay, I am assuming that we don't have any further questions. All these links are available in the live chat, or if you want to, these will be shared in your WhatsApp group as well. Don't worry. If you want to, if you are missing all these things, you'll get that in your groups as well. So yeah. With that, I believe we are at the end of this bootcamp. Not at the bootcamp, but yeah, at the end of this webinar. And we'll meet you tomorrow, and we'll start working on our project, and we'll probably be finishing that tomorrow. Yeah. So good night, everyone. Have a great day. We'll meet tomorrow, and we'll start with the project. Yeah, video recording will be available. Thanks, Dalit. Tata, bye bye. Good night.